So welcome everybody to today's presentation. Just a couple of housekeeping items as we begin. If you could just put yourselves on mute as the presentation is going on, and then feel free, you can unmute yourself to ask Cassandra any questions that you might have. Or if you feel more comfortable and want to use the text chat, you could do that and I could get those questions over to her. So I am just going to introduce our guest speaker here. Okay, so Cassandra Arsenal is the owner of Connect, a social media management company. She has an educational background in psychology, business marketing, and digital marketing, and uses her skills each day in her business. She has worked in marketing for 6 years and opened her business Connect. I think it's a little bit more than a year now.
2 years ago, I should update that.
Right? Yeah, she's here to teach the lessons she's learned on how to run a successful social media management business and gain the clients that you need. So welcome back, Cassandra. We're really glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Today we are going to talk about storytelling in your business. So I feel like a lot of times we are overwhelmed with all of the content that's out there. I mean, you've been on social media, I've been on social media. It can be very overwhelming very quickly. So I am going to tell us a little bit more about the buyer's journey. We're going to talk about storytelling, all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm also going to see, here we go. Share screen. Okay, can we all see that okay? Just looking
Sorry,
good.
yes, we could see it good.
Perfect, okay. Okay, so, hey guys, I'm Cassandra, and as Lori was saying, I'm the owner of Connect. I studied psychology back in my undergrad right after high school, loved it, but wanted to move more into the business side of things. So I then took a marketing diploma and focused in heavily on digital marketing and got my digital marketing diploma as well. Right now, my favorite platform is still Instagram. I have been saying that probably for the 2 years that I've been doing this. I love the platform. I love how diverse it's become. Does it give me a headache sometimes? Probably every day, but I do like what they're doing. Services that I offer. So I will offer one-on-one social media management. So I essentially take over your company's social media accounts and create all the content, do all the stuff for you. Or I also, I'm spelling digital wrong, but I also offer digital marketing coaching as well. So I have programs and one-on-one support. So if you have questions or you want to go through your marketing plan or anything, or you want to create a marketing plan, I offer all of that as well. So you can find me on social media at Let's Connect, or my website and email is down there as well. Okay, so I'm looking over here because my second monitor is here, so don't mind me. But we're going to talk about the buyer's journey. We're going to learn a little bit more about what that looks like and how that affects your marketing, or how it should affect your marketing. So generally, all buyers follow the same kind of path. Some people skip over steps depending on what it is, but a lot of times we're following the same type of path along the way to buying and purchasing something, whether it's a product or service. So generally, 3 steps. Number 1, awareness, consideration, and decision. So we're going to go into those a little bit more in the next slide. The more you know about your customers, the more you can provide them information that meets them where they are, that's useful where they are. A lot of times we spend selling things when people are not even at that stage yet. They're not ready to purchase something. They don't even know what their needs are yet. So it's very important that you figure out where your buyers are on this journey and develop content accordingly. Now, there are going to be buyers at the very beginning, and there's going to be buyers, ready to hit the buy button. They're going to ready to check out. The cart is full. We have to follow them along this journey in order to sell to them more effectively. So awareness, this is when your potential customer becomes aware that they have a problem. So it has nothing to do with your business. You're not even a thought in their mind right now. They are aware that, I have this problem. Whether that problem is, I would like to lose weight, whether that problem is, my pens keep running out of ink, whether that problem is, I stand up 500,000 times a day and walk around my house. So I bought a standing desk, right? So what is that problem? They need to discover that before you can even step into their world. So awareness, the customer is deciding what their problem is. Number 2 is consideration. So once they've identified their problem, they're like, oh, I have this problem. How do I fix this problem? Now they're looking at different products, different services, different options that they can adventure in to see what their options are to solve this problem. So that is where you can pop into there and use language that they're using. So if I say for myself, I was like, I noticed that I'm feeling a bit anxious when I sit at my desk all day. I'm sitting here, 8+ hours a day. I'm feeling a little anxious. I tend to get up and walk to the fridge or walk to the back of the house and come back just for literally 10 seconds. And that kind of calms me down. So what other options do I have? Okay, well, I could go for a walk. That's free. I could just go for a walk during the day. In the middle of winter when it's -40, that's not really exciting for me. What options do I have here? So we've identified I have a problem. Now, what kind of options can I have to solve that problem? That is where the language comes in as an important part of that. So if you understand how your customers are searching for your solution, you're able to meet them where they're at. If I come in here and I tell you all these fancy marketing terms and I, use all these big words that maybe you just don't even know. You're like, well, I've never heard of that concept before. I don't know what that means. I'm not meeting you where you're at. And now I've lost you completely because it's like, well, she clearly doesn't talk in the same language that I do. She's on a whole different level. You're making these assumptions about me and my business. However, if I meet you in a place where I'm using the same language as you or pretty close to it, and we're talking on the same level, you might then consider my services as an option for you. Then we have the decision phase. Again, my typing is awful to, this last week. I don't know what's going on. But it narrows down their options and it chooses one of them. So the decision stage is, okay, well, I have 3 options on the table. I could get a treadmill in my house, I could get a standing desk, or I could go for a walk. What makes the most sense for me? I'm narrowing down my options and then I decide which one is the best for me. Every customer, every client, that's going to look different from them. And that's why it's important to have different options as your services. So if you only offer one service or you only offer one product, it's going to be significantly harder to sell that one thing to the masses. If you offer a couple different options, that means that you can meet your clients where they're at in their buyer's journey so that you're able to serve more customers longer term. So the awareness stage, this is when you're posting content like FAQs, how-to videos, how-to posts, carousel posts. Educational content is huge here. Long tail content, so things like blog posts, website entries, podcasts, anything like that. The awareness stage is essentially getting your clients to see the problem in what's going on. So for my clients, a lot of clients come to me, or they don't come to me yet, but they come to me and they say, I have no time to do social media. I'm running my business. I'm being my accountant. I'm trying to do the marketing. I'm trying to do the customer service. I do not have time to sit on social media and learn the new Instagram reel trend. Just don't have time for it. So that's where my content comes in. I can give them content that says 3 easy ways to make your next reel. I can make a blog post on, feeling confident in front of the camera. Lots of different things you can do there. How to work with me, FAQ situation. The awareness stage is all about that big educational style content because you're making people aware of the problem that they have. Some people are very aware of themselves, other people are not so aware. So you can slide in there in that stage and help them become more aware. You can call them out on things. Is it taking you 3 hours to make an Instagram post? People are gonna be like, yeah, that's me at midnight, when my kids are in bed finally and I'm trying to make an Instagram post. That is a concept. So you're making them aware of that. Consideration. So now you're going to be the person that is in these videos. You're going to share your brand story. You're going to share your brand in general. You're going to talk about different services that you offer. You're going to talk about different clients that you've had. You're going to talk about, how your services can help people reach their goals. Then your decision stage is all of your afterthought content. That's your testimonials from your clients, your reviews, anything that has a call to action on it, as in purchase now or get in my new program or work with me or buy now, anything like that. that is your decision stage, because that is when people are ready to purchase. If they don't know they have a problem, they don't know why they need your service or product. Make sense? So some examples of this: awareness stage, blogs, email newsletters, educational posts, podcasts, infographic style posts. Think of all those infographics you see daily. That is, that awareness stage. They're making you aware of the problem that you might face. Your consideration stage, your case studies, webinars, something like this. I'm pulling you guys in. I've made you aware that you don't know, maybe you don't know how to tell your story, or you don't know, or you want to get better at it. We're now in the consideration stage where I'm building up the content, I'm teaching you something, I'm educating you on something, and then maybe you take that a step further and it's like, I want to work on this further. I want to build this with you. Now you come into my coaching program, or you come in one-on-one, or you're like, I would like to just have you do it for me. And then we do it that way. So webinars, free tools, a lot of free resources fit into this category. So anything that you're building your email list, that's a great spot. Trial options, video content, anything that is essentially a little bit more than just your classic infographic. You're building people into your network. You're giving them that little bit of extra. And then the decision stage. So like I said, discovery calls are huge in decision stages. If people aren't sure if they want your service, get on a quick, it doesn't have to be long. It could be a 15-minute call, and just explain to them, hey, what are your pain points? Because that's good market research for yourself. But also then you can talk to them about your services and get to know them a little bit better. Calls to action, testimonial videos, life-changing transformations, whatever it is that fits in your decision stage. Okay, so if you've read this book, excellent. We're going to go over a few key elements in this. If you haven't, I highly recommend you read it. I read this years ago, and I actually just started reading it again, and that's what kind of inspired this workshop, because I feel like this is such an important and such an effective tool. This book is crazy. It's like, if you're reading it on Audible, I mean, it's like 5 hours long. It's not a long situation. It's a smaller book, but it has so much packed into it. I bought the copy so that I could highlight and follow along with it. So building a story brand. This is a framework that Donald Miller set out to essentially build out your story in a way that you probably have not thought about, because before reading this, I was like, oh, that's how we should be doing this. And it's something that you don't necessarily naturally think about. So we're going to go through this a little bit. The customers, rather than the brand, have to be the heroes of the story. And that is what this book is based off of. Instead of me as the business owner being the hero of the story, my customers have to be the hero of the story. And that is a really big transformation in business, because oftentimes we think, don't worry, I'm here to save the day. Let's go, let's get this done. But that's not what the reality is. That's not what's going to sell and build and buy programs and services and products and whatever you've got going on. So let's talk about it. Number one, there's 7 frameworks. Number one, your audience is the hero, not you, not Jim, your audience. So I have conversations with clients all the time. The first question oftentimes I ask people when I work with them is, okay, tell me more about your target audience. Who are you serving? And more times than not, I have clients say, everyone. Well, I love that answer, but I don't love that answer. Great. I'm glad you're expanding your target audience, but who are you servicing? There is a real person out there. You can probably pick them out in a crowd. You have to know who you're talking to. You can talk to a large group of people, but you cannot talk to everybody. A baby is not the same as a 95-year-old grandmother. Those are not the same people. They have different needs completely. You cannot talk to everybody. So you have to consider, who am I talking to and how am I speaking to them? Because if you're not doing that, we're not really talking to anyone. Our marketing isn't super effective. So understand who you're talking to, number one. And it can be broad. I mean, my clientele is a little broader. My clientele is, generally 35 to 55-year-old female entrepreneurs. That's usually my target market. However, I have an eye doctor whose target market is, around age 16 to, 105. Great. But where do we fit in different areas there? Contacts are often not advertised to older people because it's harder to put in, it's harder on the eyes. So that's that's niching down into a smaller target audience. Even though their giant business is under a big target audience, there's aspects of that business that are different. Glaucoma, that's often in the older generation. That's not necessarily something that they test for super young. When you're 12, that's not something that's coming to mind. There's other things that are pertinent at that age. So understand who your target audience is and where they are. Then we need to understand their decision-making process. And this can be difficult sometimes, but you really have to think about, how do they make decisions? Are they emotional when they make decisions? My boyfriend, my gosh, when he's having a bad day, he's like, let me drop $1,000 on whatever it is. I'm like, don't do that. Like, he's he's emotionally driven when he makes decisions in the buying process. I myself, I'm like, well, if I need it, I'll get it. It'll sit in my cart for weeks. One day I'll be like, all right, might as well just check this out. What do they do? How do they decide? How do they make this decision on purchasing something? And this is different for a lot of people, but you'll notice that your target audience, and especially when you fine tune that, when you hone in on that, they do make the decision process similar to each other. If I am working with businesses that are 6-7 figure businesses, they are less likely to meet me with resistance. They know what they need in their business. They know how to improve their business. If they feel this is a good fit for them and I am a good fit for them, they will move forward without even having a conversation with me a lot of times. They're like, yep, let's do this. I'm really excited. People who have a smaller budget, they're the people that meet me with resistance. What am I getting for this? How am I working with this? What are we doing together? How many hours is this? All of these kinds of questions. Now, that's not a bad thing. You just have to know where they are in the journey. I can't sell a 6-figure coaching program to someone who is way down here in this bracket. It's just not going to work. So understanding where and how they make decisions is super important. How do they spend their money? Are they frugal with their money? Are they spending it all over the place? Do they have a lot of disposable income? What does that look like? Is somebody staying at home with the kids? All of these things. So once we understand that our audience is the hero, we have to understand their problems. So this is the hook to your brand story. This is really what builds the rest of the process here. What keeps your clients up at night? What do they struggle with? What is keeping them up at night? Because we all stay up at night wondering, okay, well, I wish I had more money in my bank account, or I wish I could lose weight, or I wish my social media didn't take 17 months and then I end up hating it anyway, or I wish I could sing, or I wish I had that car in my driveway, or whatever it is. There is always something that keeps your clients up at night. There's always something that they want to improve upon, they want to eliminate the struggle towards. So ask yourself that, with my business, what are my clients struggling with? Why are they coming to me? I ask my clients that. I'm like, what drew you to me? What's going on here? What are your pain points? Understanding that, whether it's a product or service, understanding that allows you to really step into that space and be that person that they need to guide them in the right direction. Things I used a weight loss example in this presentation. So, asking, what does your dream body look like? How does having this body make you feel better? What can it give you? A lot of people say, I want to lose weight. Why? What about losing weight is the transformation for you? Oftentimes it's confidence, independence, health reasons. They need to lose it for health reasons. All of those kinds of things. So that's okay. Great. Let's discover that a little bit deeper. Now we understand the motive behind why they want to make this change, and we can help them, guide them through that. So be the guide. We are going to be the guide as the business owners. We are not going to be the heroes and swoop in and save them, but we're going to guide them in the right direction. So every good story needs a guide. Think about Cinderella. The fairy godmother was the guide, right? She didn't swoop in and bring Cinderella to the ball and dump her out and meet her with Prince Charming. She had nothing to do with that. She made the dress, she got the carriage, Cinderella then took the action to put on the dress and go to the ball. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? So that's the same concept. We are going to lead our clients down this path. We're going to lead them in the right direction. Again, whether it's a product or service, this is all a process. When they visit your website, you need to lead them through your website so that they know where they're going and they know where, you fit in that story. So we're leading them down the path. We are going to show them the path. They are going to walk it with us. And that is what is important. We have to stay focused on what the problem solving means to this client. So anybody can say, get the new iPhone. It's great. It has this 25 megapixel camera. It has all this memory. It's wireless charging. I'm not an iPhone person, so I actually know none of this. Whatever it is, they're like the iPhone 14, yay, get it. This is why. But they're not addressing what that means to the client. Apple then comes out with commercials where it's like, feel more confident in your photography skills. Make sure you can get all your work done on the train with a 50 milliamp power battery, whatever it is. Those are the problems that product is solving. It doesn't actually matter that the battery is 40 milliamps. What does that even mean, right? In the grand scheme of things, what does that mean? For me, it means that I can take this phone with me from 5 o'clock in the morning until midnight and not have to charge it once. That's what that means to me. So that means I have a reliable phone. I can take it wherever I have to go. I know that I can get work done on it without feeling like I need to be attached to a wall somewhere, right? So understanding their problem and what your product or service is solving for them. What does that mean to them? Okay, once we understand our audience is our hero, we're understanding the problems, we got to create a plan to actually solve this problem, right? That's where your products and services come in. So we need to plan something to lead our clients to success. So listen to them when they speak. When they're having a conversation with you, whether it's at your storefront or, on a discovery call or on the phone or whatever it is, maybe it's a client you've had for 10 years. Great. Tell me what your problems are. Maybe not your life problems, but sure, I'll listen to that too. Tell me what's going on. Why do you continue to repurchase this product? What is it giving you that, Amazon is not giving you? Or why do you continue to come back for this service? What am I providing to you that's able to give you that life or that dream or that problem solved? Bring your plan to life together. This is a collaborative thing. A lot of times businesses just want to solve everything, throw it at their clients and say, here, we've fixed your problems. But the client doesn't feel involved in the journey. They feel like their needs are not being met because they're not. They're just throwing some sort of solution. Have you ever launched a product or service and it completely flopped? People have done this many times where they're like, this is what our client needs. They will tell you what they need. Let them do the talking and you do the building. Because if you tell them what you think they need, it's not going to go well. And then start growing together. Start building on this process together. Start building this together. So use your product or service to help them guide them to the life that they want. With a weight loss program, I'm like, okay, we are going to do a 3-month weight loss program. Yes, let's get it. Let's do it. I'm not throwing this at my clients saying, this is what you need. I've listened to them. They've said, 3 months is a great opportunity for me. It's not so long that I feel like I'm not making progress, but it's quick and easy for me to stay committed to that. I think that that's a long-term commitment that I can have. Great. Okay. What is this weight loss program going to give you? It's going to give me more confidence and it's going to help me with my sugar intake because I'm worried about my health needs. Great. All right, let's get going. Now we build out this program. Now we build out this product or service with the client in mind. So we want more confidence. We want to get healthy. We're going to use this program to get to that point. I am not going to jump in and tell my clients, you need this and you have to do this. I'm walking beside them. I'm telling them, all right, This is a program that I've built that we're going to work together towards. I am in the gym with you. We are working together. I am not sending this to you and throwing you out the door and not following up. I'm not telling you to spend $1,000 on this program and you never hear from me again. We're doing this together. So creating the plan, make sure you're clear and specific. You really have to hone in on that messaging. And that's why it's important to understand who you're talking to. Eliminating any worry that your client has. A lot of rejection comes from price for the reason that people don't want to throw that money away. They already know in their head they are not going to commit to something. And so they're like, how much money do I feel comfortable literally burning before it's too much and I'm uncomfortable with that? They already have that in their head. That's why they meet with that objection on price, because they don't think that they can commit to what you're bringing to the table. So that's why it's important, again, to walk with them through those objections, walk with them through that process. Let them know that you are going to support them through this program. You're not somebody who's going to throw the program at them and never talk to them again and take their money. You are someone who's going to sit with them in the gym and listen to them, you know, be upset that day because they didn't lift as much as they did 2 days ago. Hey, we're working together. We're building this together. Your product, if you're selling this, you know, you're selling this phone, I know that if I have a problem with this phone, or I need a case for this phone, or my daughter loves this phone and I want another one, your company is still going to be there to provide me with that service. It's not going to be, here's the phone, and then you never hear from the company again. That's not a good sales tactic, as we all know. But that's what this is getting at. Let's walk this journey together. Let me provide you with the tools to solve your own problem, but you're going to be the person that accepts those tools and uses them effectively to solve those problems. You know, let's say our plan, we're going to plan, we're excited. We're like, our plan is going to take 3 easy steps to losing 10 pounds. So we outline the plan. We're going to take these 3 steps and we're going to lose 10 pounds. Maybe you're not putting a time limit on it. That's important in some cases. Maybe it's not, you're going to lose 10 pounds in 2 days. Okay, well, that might feel a little stressful for people. Figure out what makes sense for the client. Every client is going to be different. You know, obviously you can't change your products or services for every client, but the more you understand that target audience, the more you'll be able to really develop things that are geared towards them. And then our agreement is my commitment to be available to you. So I'm not going to dump you off and leave you and good luck. I told you what to do. Now it's on you. No, we're going to walk that together. You know, some days are going to be hard. Some days you're going to want to quit, but we're going to walk together and figure it out together. Okay, our call to action. Call to actions are huge, but they need to be in the right spot. Like I said at the beginning, if you are not quite ready to, or your clients aren't ready to make that decision phase stage, the call to action is kind of useless. They're not going to be at that stage yet where they're ready to make that action. So when you throw out a call to action, it's completely lost on them and they don't pay attention to it. So the guide has to challenge the hero. So the guide being the business owner, the hero being the audience. The guide, myself, has to challenge my audience to take the action. This is hard because a lot of people, again, they're like, where do I draw the line? Do I feel that I can commit to this? Do I feel like this person is holding me in this? Do I feel like this product is actually going to solve my problem? Or is my problem completely a different situation? So we have to think carefully about what we want our client to do. And a lot of times you don't have a lot of call to actions to make action on. You know, you can say, buy this, buy this, buy this, but you have to really understand where your client is at and that you don't inundate them with purchasing links. I say this a lot on social media. People get caught up in the services that they provide or the products that they provide. Yes, we love it. Thank you so much for doing that. But past that point, what gives me a reason to follow you online? What are you showing me outside of just your product or service that I want to connect with further? Nothing? Great, unfollow. I don't need to follow you to know what your products or services are. Just go to your website. So that educational style content is meeting people at the beginning of the buyer's journey, but it's also getting people to continue to follow you and continue to be a part of your community because you're providing them with value. You're continuing to support them in their journey. So think carefully about what you want your client to do. This is going to look different for every single person in this room. I can guarantee you now, whether we all sell services or we all sell products, it's going to look different. You have to decide what you want your client to do in that moment. Do you want your client to sign up for your email list? Do you want your client to download this discount code? Do you want your client to purchase this product because it's on sale, or because it's brand new and you're excited to launch it, or because it's the product that solves their problem? Do you want your client to, be in your doorstep? What do you want your client to do? And it has to kind of follow with where they're at. Your client is not going to step in your door if they don't even know who you are or why they need you, right? If they're not aware of the problem that you're solving, they're not going to come to your door yet. They're not there yet. So that's why we have that educational content. Make them aware of their problem. Bring them into the company culture. Let them understand their options. Let them understand that you're an option in their journey. Then when they feel ready, they'll take that leap. And that's where that call to action comes in. There's two types of call to action. You have your direct and your transitional. So direct call to action asks your client to call today, apply now, something along those lines, right? Learn more. This is oftentimes accompanied with a website link, with a blog post link, with a phone number, with an address. Come into the shop today, buy now, do this, go here, whatever that is. Then you have the transitional call to action. That is a way where they can learn more about you. This is oftentimes the more popular one for a lot of times. It'll be like 70-30. You're using the transitional versus the direct. The transitional is things that get people into your world. Building that email list, building that phone number list, building that, free workshop, whatever's going on. This for me right now, when I did this workshop a couple of days ago, that was an opportunity for me to build my email list. People who signed up, yay, great, I have their email, and now I can build that into a new campaign. When I launch X, Y, and Z, I have these people in my world. A free trial for something. When you go to the gym, they give you a free trial sometimes. Come in for a workout, learn more about our business. That's their opportunity to pull you into what they're doing. You're the hero. They are the guide. They're guiding you in to their space so that you can learn more about it. You can decide if that's the right space for you, and then they can swoop in and do what they need to do. So there's two different types of call to action. There's always a good way to transition and to adjust between both of them. I never recommend selling all the time, and I never recommend never selling, right? There has to be a fine line between it. So we do have to discuss the potential failures with our clients. We do have to understand that no matter who we are, what business we have, what product we have, sometimes they fail. You could buy a brand new iPhone, open it up, and it never turns on. Oh, okay. Well, if Apple just disappeared, could you imagine? You spent $1,500 on a new phone, you open the box, it doesn't work, and now you have no company to talk to about that. No, we're not going to be those people, right? So whatever that looks like for your company and your business, there are going to be failures. It's just human nature, right? We are not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. The world is not perfect. Whatever it is, there is problems. And so we need to be able to support our clients through those problems. So the fairy godmother advises her hero, Cinderella, to take action. She gives her the tools by giving her the dress, giving her the carriage to go to the ball. But the fairy godmother does not go up to Prince Charming and say, hey, this is Cinderella. I'd love you to meet her, and dances with them together. She's not in there with them. She is in the background. She's given Cinderella the tools. It's now up to Cinderella to pick up those tools and do with what she will with those, solve her own problem. She is the hero. We are not the hero. So your brand should share the importance of following through with your product or service. So it's important that clients understand that you can't expect results if you don't put in the work, right? We all know that from whatever it is. We all know that lesson at some point in our lives. If we don't put in the work, there's not going to be a result to celebrate. So if you have a product, you're like, okay, I'm sending out these new iPhones to people. If people don't turn on the phone, it's not going to work. Obviously, if you don't charge the phone and turn it on, I can't do anything past that. I've given you the tool. I've given you the product, the iPhone. It's now your job to take that, open the box, plug it in, let it charge, turn it on, and do what you need to do on it. The software, the camera, nothing else matters in that moment other than them taking the action to start the process. So I can sell them as much as I want. Oh my gosh, it has this beautiful camera, it has this or that, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, if they don't turn that phone on, it will never solve the problems that they actually need. It will never provide them a 9-to-5 workday cell phone situation battery life. It will never provide them connection to their family across the world because they haven't even turned the thing on. So that is what we need to understand, that we can lead the horse to water, but we can never make them drink, right? We can't just shove their head into the water. It's not going to work like that. So we have to understand that the client is responsible for a part of that. And so when we come to them, we're like, okay, we have the weight loss plan. We're going to do this. We have to reassure them through that process that it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. You are going to feel great. We are going to build this together. We're in this together. Have you ever called Amazon? It's crazy. I love Amazon. When you call Amazon, first of all, you don't have to wait on hold for 7 hours. You literally click call me. You know, I put in the request, call me. They call me within like 3 minutes. They're like, hey, what can we do for you? We noticed that there was something wrong. I said, oh, my order didn't show up at the door. They're like, oh no, what happened? Don't know. Let's take a look. They look in, and on the back end, they noticed it was delivered down the street to somebody else's house. It literally just happened to me 2 days ago. Great. Okay. What can we do to make this better? All right. Do you want us to send you another one? Do you want a refund? What do you want to do? I would love for you to send me another one. Great. No problem. It will be at your door in 2 days. Perfect. Done. Check. Handled. Right? They are with me through that process. If I got an order saying your order's been delivered, I go outside, which I did. There's no package there. I look around, no package. Where's my package? I don't know. And then Amazon jumps off the face of the earth. Now I've spent money at a place that has not given me anything. And I've now been left to just, well, it is what it is. Good luck. That's not fair to your clients, right? So making sure that they feel like the hero, they've done the work, they've put in the energy, they've bought the product, that's what's going to solve their needs, but being there to support them along that journey, whether it's answering questions about your coaching program or when they ask you about shipping, explaining that process to them. We love success stories. Everyone loves a good success story. They don't always end successfully, but we love when they do. So that being said, show them their journey and be clear about what they did. You know, show them, hey, remember 6 months or 3 months ago when you met me, you were feeling very lethargic, you were feeling overweight, you didn't love yourself, you didn't love your body. Here we are 3 months later, you've lost that 10 pounds, you're feeling a little bit more energized. We've built you a schedule so that you can continue on with this program if that's what you choose to do. Map out the character transformation. So the hero goes from blank to blank. That could be your service or product. The hero goes from constantly feeling like they need to be plugged into the wall to now having a phone, that lasts all day so that they're able to talk to their kids at any time and not stress about their phone dying. There's lots of different options, but understanding that that transformation is what's going to bring people back into your world. Those testimonials, those transformations, those aha moments is what is going to cycle people back into your products or services. It honestly has nothing to do with how pretty your website is. Like, yeah, we love a good website moment. But at the end of the day, if your product sucks or you have no clientele to prove you or back you up on things, it's going to be hard to initially build that rotation. Once you get a few clients that are like, I loved her work, or this product was amazing, it saved me so much time, you can start creating that cycle and people will start buying more frequently. The more you talk about the villain, the more people will want the tool to help them defeat that villain, right? So the more times you talk about the bad things and what we can solve with this product or service, the more people are going to want to use that product or service to help solve that problem. So if you guys get a chance, I highly recommend that book. It'll be at the beginning of the slideshow, and you're going to get all of this later on as a replay. But if you have time, highly recommend it. It is such a great read. And, get out that highlighter, get out those things. They have frameworks. They have this framework where you literally build this out, like where it's a worksheet, you learn about it. There's workshops, tons of resources on this kind of stuff, but it's definitely a really good resource. And that's why I wanted to kind of bring it back up to the forefront. If people haven't read it, or if you have read it, it's definitely something that is important, and definitely something that you can build off of as you build your business and service and products and whatever you got going on. Really remembering that the clients are the heroes. Let them enjoy their journey. Let them be the heroes, so that you can sit back and work with them and build this process over and over again. Yeah, I am going to stop talking for 1 second. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to share, please feel free to do so.
For sure. Thank you so much for that. Yes, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself now and you can ask any questions. Or if you want to use the text chat, you can go ahead there. There's none in the chat right now.
Talk their ear off.
Sorry?
Everyone's quiet. I talked their ears off.
No, this is great information. Thank you so much for presenting this.
Yeah, no problem. I found it really helped me, and he has so many examples in the books. Like he's worked with huge companies, and like literally their website now has 4 words on it, and it sells hundreds of units, right? So
yeah, exactly, for sure.
Getting clear on that messaging.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I see a hand up. Sorry, I don't know. I just see the initials.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is. Really appreciate the presentation. Thank you so very much. Awesome information. I was curious. I mean, especially now that we're in a digital world, right? And being on social media is important, because the endorsement is important to have out there. What can one expect the investment to be if you are a startup on an annual basis? Because it's one thing you want to go and get clients and drum up business, right? But because you want to be social and be visible, what would you say in terms of a startup budget to kind of allocate for social media, digital media, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, of course. So, budget can mean 2 different things. We got money figures and time figures, right? So, when we think about online marketing, we want to make sure at the end of the day that we're consistent with our marketing. And that's what it comes down to. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm supposed to have 85,000 posts a day. That's not realistic for a lot of us, right? We have 8 other projects on the go. We have clients coming in the door. We just don't have that capacity. So consistency is key. And I say, I've posted most of my business Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which a lot of people are like, you still only post 3 times a week. And yes, that has been effective for me. So I think, understanding how long it's going to take you to create those posts and what that's taking out of your life and out of your business. So a lot of my clients come to me and they say, I'm posting, maybe they're posting 2 times a week, or maybe they're posting whenever they get a chance. And they're saying, I'm not seeing the growth that I want, or I'm not seeing any sort of consistency. I don't have the time to do this. I'm frustrated with this. That is what, comes down to that money value. So for me, my packages range from $700 to $1,500 a month, depending on, how many posts we're making and what kind of engagement we're doing and all of those things. But my clients come to me and they say, well, I'm spending, 20, 30, 40 hours a month trying to get this content out there, and I'm not happy with it, or it's not performing the way I want to, because they don't have a strategy behind it, or because they don't 100% know what's happening. And so it just depends on where you're at. Do you start, when I started my business, I didn't hire anyone to do my website or my social media. I did it by myself, and it took me 3 months of consistent work to get all of that back end stuff done, so that I could actually open my business and open the doors to my business, feeling confident in what I had already started to build. So I think it just depends on how quickly and how effectively you can do it on your own. Because I always say, if you can do it on your own and you enjoy it, please do it. Like, I would love to see that. I'd love to see what you're going to grow into. But if you notice that it's just taking you crazy amounts of time, you're getting stressed out, and it's not worth it mentally and physically, that's when it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to expense this out, and this needs to be a part of my monthly budget, so that I can feel confident in the marketing and build up my brand awareness to gain more clients. And then, the cycle continues. My clients are now funding my marketing budget, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? Does that help at all?
Yes, context is everything. No, I appreciate that, and you're right, because I think we have to kind of prioritize what our why we're doing it, and what sort of credibility and what sort of imaging that you want to kind of put out. Because I think a lot of times, like right now, we're kind of coming out of post-COVID right now, and everybody's kind of so caught up in you gotta have a digital presence, but it's one thing to have it, and then another thing to be effective at it. So it's like, okay, when can you farm it out and kind of focus on what you're great at?
And that's huge, right? Is understanding when it's effective and when you're just doing it to do it. Because just doing it to do it is not any better than not doing it at all, right? Because people are not seeing that quality behind it. And if you can post twice a week, I'd rather you post twice a week and have good content than post 7 times a week and have crappy content that's not reaching anybody.
Great, thanks. I know Natalia had her hand up.
Yeah, hi, Cassandra. Thank you. I'm curious about, so let me give you a little background of what my business primarily is. So I basically design and print 3D bath bomb molds that I sell to bath bomb makers.
Amazing.
And so when you say like, what's the challenge, or, what's their struggle? I see there's several, but I think kind of the two main ones are that there's bad quality molds out there. Right. And so you don't know until you get it whether or not they're good. So certain companies have really good quality ones and others not so much. You get it and none of the molds work because they're a good 3D designer, but they don't know how to make it for bath bombs.
Right.
So that's one, is quality. And then two is speed. So the quality, like there's one major there's like two ones that I would say I'm on par with, like they're top quality, and that's what I go for, is quality. And one is like the biggest in the market, and they have it used to be a 4 to 6 week turnaround. Now they're at a 3 to 5 week like before they're shipping it out, because everything's printed to order. It takes a while to print. I commit to 2 weeks, but I usually get them out within 1 week. So I'm doing faster, but the high quality. So my challenge is, when I say, okay, what's their struggle? One struggle is quality, but I don't want to say, are you getting these crappy molds from ABCD, right? I don't want to call out bad ones, because also there are some that I didn't think were good, but others love them. So, and I don't want to poop on anybody else's business either, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I say mine are better, or even mine are on par with, but like I come from a political science background where it's like, you don't name your competitor because now you're sending people there, right? So it's like, how do I say mine are better and faster, or mine are on par with the best, better than these, faster than the best, like, it's like, I want to say those without calling out. Yeah. Yeah. So like, that's my struggle, is like how to not be negative, but like, do I infer it? Or do I kind of like just make up, like, mold company A, I love their molds, but it takes me forever, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of, I'm struggling with that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a few different things as you're kind of saying that are coming to mind. So I'm going to shoot them off. Please let me know if you have more questions or what that looks like. You could do a few different things. So you could just fact base your content. So you can say 1 week shipping or 1 week mold creation. Like, you don't have to say that they take 4 to 6 weeks. You can just say, I only take 1 week. So that gives people right away, they're like, oh, if I buy from them, it's going to take me 5 weeks. But if I buy from you, it's only going to take me 2 weeks. They can already infer that.
They can do the math without me telling them. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So fact-based, and then you can even do like almost like a case study style content where you're like, have you been met with these types of objections from companies? We can't get your product to you. We don't ship to Canada. Your mold is breaking before you've even used it. Where you're not directly calling anybody out, because in reality, if you made crappy molds, the same thing would happen, right? Or if I made a mold, I don't know what I'm doing. I can, I can sell it, but it's not going to be good, right? So just understanding and showing your clients your values in the business. Your values are quality. Share that with people. Like, you know, this is how long it takes me to create a mold. This is the process it goes through. This is the research I've done to make sure that it is a good quality mold and it's not going to break apart the second you use it. So
yeah, I will say the challenge is usually not that it breaks. The challenge is that mix will stick, and so you don't get the bath bomb will stick, and so you're trying to get a
so then the
bare
bath bomb's
design,
broken.
and now it just looks fuzzy. So I do tell people, like, I have Facebook ads that I think go to Instagram. I don't even know. Anyway, so I paid somebody to set them up for me, and I don't know, but and I do talk about like high quality, they're all tested, whatever, right? So I do test every design live in my Facebook group. Like, so people see me testing them, and if they fail, I'm like, this failed, I gotta go and, you know, so like I'm sharing that within the Facebook group, but not necessarily elsewhere. And so maybe I need to find a way to kind of, I mention it, like I have a post where I'm like, hey, join my Facebook group and see me test, but maybe I need to. But
yeah, and like just sharing that content other places, right? Where it doesn't necessarily have to be a live video, but you can take a snippet from that video. And like, because it gets recorded, so you can save the recording and then just take a little snippet of that and make a reel, because those are huge. But like, just, you know, letting people, instead of bashing other people, just informing people.
Right. I don't want to like, I'm friends honestly with some of the owners of the other ones, and I like, whether I like their molds or not, they're still okay. Do you know, it's kind of a side thing, but like, I know Facebook used to ask me, do you want to save this to your device and after the live, and now it's not asking me that anymore. Do you know if they've changed that? I know you're more Instagram, so I don't know if you know. Like now what I do is I literally go and watch it, but I turn my phone on screen record before I watch it. So that's how I get my thing. Like I'm kind of backing it, but it'd be nice if I could actually save it to my device, you know?
Yeah, that's odd. So two things there, it might not say it anymore. I haven't been live on Facebook in a little bit, but it might not say it anymore. Check the 3 dots in the corner where it says like edit, where you can edit caption and stuff. There might be an option in there that says download video, and or you can take the URL and Google like download video.
Okay.
Paste it in there and it'll download it for you as a.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I do that with Instagram videos. Every video I make, I throw it in there.
I've gone, I'll double check. I've gone to the dots and I feel like it says save video, but that just saves it into your Facebook. It's not downloading it. So, okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
I'll try
double check that.
I'll double check the dots again, but I'll also check on downloading. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there any other questions that anybody else has? And if you think of any questions later on, is it okay that they contact you? Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat here.
Okay, great. All right. Yeah.
So if you remind us, I know it's in the thing, but what's your Insta account?
I'm gonna send it to you right now. It's Let's Connect with 2 underscores in it because someone took connect.
Thanks. I get it. Oh, maybe you can help me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is a very personal issue that I'm having with my Insta.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize to everybody else. But essentially, so my company name is Sophistication. And when I went to create my Instagram account, pre-COVID, so I don't remember when it was, I didn't know Insta at all. And it said, are you a business? And I was like, yes. And then it was like, what's your tax ID number? And I was like, I don't have one. And they were like, closed, blocked. And they closed like that handle. And then I was like, okay, well, let me go in and change it to personal. And I went to change it to personal and they're like, you can't log in. There's no account. So I was like, okay, let me add Sophistication. They're like, Sophistication's already in use. So I was like, okay, I forgot my password. No such account. Like, it's like, I'm in this limbo place. So I created one called Sophistication_artisan, but it's really frustrating because it's like every other social media thing. I have a YouTube channel. I have a TikTok. I have a Facebook page. All of them are just Sophistication. And so like my business card, I have to put Sophistication as my everything except Insta is, you know, so it's like, do you know if there's any way at all to like, somehow contact somebody to be like, can you please, I have an HST number now, so it's fine. I can put it in there, even though in Canada you don't need it right away. But if you want to buy
So
whatever,
weird.
but, you know, so I don't, you probably don't, but since you're an Insta expert,
you
or
ever
you're
tried
in
to
that
call
world,
Facebook?
maybe you know something.
If you ever tried to call Facebook, it's like trying to call Mars.
Yeah, it's
Come find me on social media and we will chat. We will figure
Okay.
it out, hopefully.
okay. Sorry,
I have
guys,
100%
everybody else.
answer
There were
to
no
that,
more
but-
questions, so I figured I had time to ask it. So
Yeah, no worries. That might be a little more investigation.
thank you.
No problem.
Okay, well, there's no other questions in the chat. I don't think anybody else has any other questions, but Cassandra did put her contact information in the chat too. So if you think of anything later on and want to ask her, then please reach out. So I want to say thanks everybody for joining us today, and thanks so much, Cassandra. It's always a pleasure to have you here. You always provide such great information, and we really appreciate it. So I will be in touch to book you in for the spring.
Yay, sounds good.
Yeah. So thanks everybody, and thank you, Cassandra, and wishing everybody a great day.
Thank you, guys.